everyone. Today let's talk about state census records. State census records can be very useful in filling in the gaps between the U.S. federal census. The state census records may also have asked different or unusual questions that could give you more of a sense of the family dynamics. I'm going to give you the computerized version of helps for the state census today. This information can also be found in the blue research binders on aisle E here in the BYU Family History Library. There are also some state census indexes and in books form that can be found in the BYU Family History Library reference section. Whenever I don't know what to do, I start with the FamilySearch Wiki. This is the top half of the Wiki page for the United States Census Records. This is the bottom of the State Census Wiki page. Look at all of the links that are being served up to you. Pay particular attention to the links to different kinds of census records, such as mortality schedules, Indian populations, and agricultural schedules. These are definitely worth looking at as you explore all options to find your family. I'd like to plug in one little reminder about any searches you make. Always read the screen. You never know what little tidbit you may miss because you didn't read the screen. I'm embarrassed to say that I have missed things more than once because of this very thing. One other thing to know is that you can find out which states had state censuses and their years by going to census.gov and checking out this chart. This is nice because it shows all of the states and all of the years a state census was taken. Let's take a look at this partial page of known state census records from census.gov. You can also find this listing in other places. You can see that some states had lots of state census records and some have no state census records. The majority are somewhere in the middle of these two extremes. You can see that there wasn't a standardized time frame for the states to take a state census. Many states were looking to capture other information about their population, so they may take the census at intervals that may seem odd to us. Just know that if you are stymied by the information or lack of information in a federal census, be sure to check and see if there is a state census that may have the information you seek. For the upcoming examples, we will use New York records. As you can see from the New York box, that New York took a state census in the years 1790, 1825, 1835, 1845, 55, 65, 75, and then they went to 1892, 1905, 1915, and 1925. It looks like the state had counting problems between 1875 and 1892. What happened to the nice, neat, orderly every 10 years? For my examples, I'm going to go back to the FamilySearch Wiki and just start clicking on the links. Here's where you land when you click on the link for the New York State Census in the Wiki. There is so much information on this page that it is hard to know where to start. Let's look at a couple of things. First off, at the top under Tips, there is a link that will take you a page listing the exact dates of each federal census. This is really helpful because many times we find that the age of our relative is off by a year or so. It is helpful to know when the actual census was taken to see if your relative's birthday was before or after the census was taken. Of course, there is the other option that your relative or relatives like mine fibbed a teeny bit on their age, or someone else told their age to the census taker and they were off a little bit. In the big pink box, we see that there are links to all of the information in this article if you don't want to scroll down. Again, read the screen. I'm excited to see that the New York State Census are online at both FamilySearch and Ancestry. I'm going to take the easy road first and start with the link for the New York 1905 census. I am looking for Joseph Augustitis. I know from his Social Security application that Joseph shortened his name to Titus. So here we go. My goal is to look at all of the state census records where Joseph Titus should be listed. I know he was in Brooklyn, New York in the 1900 census. So now let's look at 1905. I'm going right to the 1905 New York State Census page. Remember to read the screen. I know that you're anxious to find the relative, but I promise it will be worth it to you to slow down and read the description and learn more about what's on this page. You are going to feel so smart. Joseph Titus is the first and last name. Use all name variations that you can think of. For this example, I already know that he went by Joseph Titus, but I used the question mark wildcard to replace the last I. I did this so that the search would pick up variations in spelling like TIS, TUS, and TAS. New York is a large, populous city, so I narrowed it down to Brooklyn. Yahoo! Luck is on my side, or maybe it's because I did a little extra preparation. But here is the family I am looking for. The family lives on Irving Avenue. Joseph Titus is the head with his wife Amelia, daughter Violet, and a boarder, Joseph Kaufman. This census gives great information. Joseph is a white male, 31 years old, from Russia, has been in the U.S. for 10 years, is still an alien, and is a baker by profession. It looks like Joseph Kaufman is also a baker, maybe an apprentice. I will want to look into Joseph Kaufman because he is from Germany, as is Amelia. Is there a relationship there? More questions to answer. Amelia has been in the U.S. for 8 years and is still an alien, and Violet is a U.S. citizen. Let's now look at the New York 1915 census. My family information tells me that they never left Brooklyn, so I should find this family again. Don't forget to read the description and the Learn More section on this page. We are using the same search words as we did on the 1905 New York census. Joseph Titus using a wildcard, Brooklyn, New York, and search. Boo, we come up empty. Time to change the search parameters a little. Strike two. We took out the city in New York, but still no luck for Joseph Titus. Strike three. I changed the spellings of the name and put Brooklyn back in. I looked through all 25 of these results and saw nothing that was related to me. I also searched under Amelia and came up with nothing. I would have tried Violet, the daughter, but she died in 1912, so that wouldn't have helped me in 1915. So, where in the world are they in 1915? Did they really move somewhere, or were they just at the Jersey Shore playing on Census Day? More questions than answers. I will have to let the 1915 census baffle me for a while. Let's see what we can find in the 1925 census. The 1925 census is the last census that New York shows in the list. Some states have censuses in 1935 and 1945, but it looks like New York isn't one of them. Here we are back at the New York Census Wiki page. Let's click on 1925. Here is my search for Joseph Titus in the New York 1925 census. I used the wildcard in Titus, and for residents I just put New York. Since I couldn't find them in the 1915 census, I wasn't sure they were still in Brooklyn, but I made the assumption that they were still in New York. Bingo! Would you look at that? That is my Joseph Titus. I guess maybe they were on the Jersey Shore during the 1915 census. When you click on the name at the top of the result, this box pops up with transcribed pertinent details. Always look at the image if you have one. There is information on the actual record that may not have been transcribed for you on the quick screen. Notice that although you are searching in FamilySearch, viewing the image takes you to our partner site, Ancestry.com. It looks like the family moved sometime between 1905 and 1925. I also noticed that Joseph is a retired baker. Amelia is now listed as Emily. There is no border with them, and they have a son named Edward. The daughter, Violet, is gone at this point. From the looks of the numbers, they appear to be in a boarding house or a large apartment building. On one other exciting note, Joseph is now a U.S. citizen, and his date and place of naturalization is listed. You can see the date right under the pink arrow. This is a pink piece of information that I didn't have anywhere in my records. A small success, but I will take anything I can get. I'd like to show you one other technique before I finish. Here's the page to search historical records under the Search tab at the top. Notice that I have filled in Joseph Titus with no wildcard and Amelia as the spouse. Let's now click on Search. As you can see, for the number of results at the top, we have now gone from famine to feast. There are 14,000 plus records. I started really broad and I'm seeing some results that I've already seen. Can I refine it further? You bet. Let's switch to the collections view. Many times I have found this to be a time saver because of the way it sorts. I can go right to the collection that I'm interested in. Sometimes it is best to search by the collection so you can eliminate all those records that you know aren't even remotely connected to the person you are searching for. See how the collections are now separated? I can go now and click right on the census record that I'm interested in. On the right side, you are shown the number of results in that collection that match what you're looking for. I see 6 results in the 1925 New York Census. Looking at the collections this way also gives me an idea of what other collections my person may be listed in. I can now go look for death records, passenger lists, military records, etc. Looking at the collections in this manner really expands my thought process. In this example, I checked the New York 1925 census only and then clicked the filter tab on the top of the screen. Joseph Titus pops right to the top. I can't promise these results for everyone, but if you practice this skill, your searches will become easier for you. Don't forget that there are image-only collections that haven't been indexed yet, but you can still open them and get a feel how they are organized. Don't count out the unindexed records. They are a gold mine just waiting to be found. So your challenge today, to learn more about the state census records in the state of your choice. You might even find that elusive relative that has been haunting you. Happy hunting!